And we're back with a quick tutorial on Starsector. Choose your name, put in your map seed if you've got one, and then you want to choose an explorer start. This gives you the best possible start, and you're also going to have to go with the tutorial, namely because this means you can come out of it with about 200 grand. Otherwise you'll come out of it, or if you hit skip it, you'll just start with 50 grand and the ships you would have had anyway. It's more time consuming, but it definitely gives you a massive boost at the early game. Follow all the tutorial instructions until you get to the point where you have to open the comms directory to talk to the guy. This fella here, we're just not going to talk to him just yet. Instead, we're going to into the trade screen here and we are going to buy out all the fuel. We're going to take all of that, thank you very much. And we did it in the black market, you'll notice we're paying no tariffs. Also, while I'm here, I do like to pick up all of the, well, top up the last of the fuel with the ones from the regular market, the open market. You can't take too much, unfortunately, but, you know, we'll buy enough of them that we have maxed it out. Reason being, the price of fuel is about to go through the roof. Everything else has already gone through the roof, you'll notice. For example, supplies are already too expensive. Pretty much everything has already gotten too expensive. But now that we've done all of that, you can go into the comms console, talk to this chap, go through all the mission. Once you've finished all the mission, come out here and turn off your transponder. Then once your transponder's off, come back in here to buy more goods. And we're going to go to the black market and we're going to start buying drugs. As many as we can afford, thank you kindly. Actually, can we take one more? Yes, we can. Oh, you know what? We'll take a few more. Oh, never mind. I totally messed up. Done. We'll take all of those drugs. You have to remember now, because of the way the mission works and our transponder is off, no one's ever going to bother searching us. They don't care. We're completely legit in their eyes. Now, as well as that, we're going to go over here to the pirate base, and we're not going to go stealthy. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to have a sustained burn the whole way over there. The reason we can do this is we have enough fleet from the start we got that the pirates just run away from us. So as we come screaming in, completely visible on a radar, the pirate fleet will avoid us. Done. Now we can go in here, go straight to the black market, and we can now sell off those drugs for 656. I think we paid about 350 for them. So it's a massive profit rating to drag them over here. Thank you very much. In fact, we'll also sell out these iron ingots. We don't need them. They're just taking up space in our cargo. And then we're going to buy a whole bunch of these harvested organs. The harvested organs sell for more back at the place we were at. And done. So what we're going to do is take all the drugs from the starbase and sell them here, and take all the harvested organs from here and sell them at the starbase. Back on the starbase at the opposite side, we can sell off those harvested organs for a rather tasty 730, and at the same time we can buy as much drugs as we can possibly hold in our hull. So after several trips back and forth, this is the last of the drugs we're selling off, and that brings us up to 126 grand, which, nice. Then we're just going to get on with the rest of the mission. One bonus for all this trading is you'll actually gain a skill up at the same time. It's not really that useful to us. You can check out your skills down here. The first two you want to go with are navigation and bulk transport. We'll go more into that later, but they should be the first two skills you get out of the gate. Throughout the mission, you're going to end up keep coming back to this habitat. When you do, just check on the black market and buy all the drugs. Every single time you come back here, buy up all the drugs. Never turn your transponder back on again. Ever. While you're here, just at least for the start of it. And then just continue on with the mission. At this point, it's, yep, put some weapons on them, and they're going to give us a bunch of stuff here. After you've gone through that section where it tells you what to do, there's a whole bunch of storage items in here that they give you, including 100 supplies. They're going to be quite tasty. You know what, let's just take all of these, shall we? One final stop at this pirate place, just to offload all of that junk we got. That's another 144, thank you kindly. Ooh, they got more harvested organs. Oh, we got to go sell those. But yeah, as you can see, we're pretty close to the 200 Gs mark, and we haven't even left the tutorial area yet. After stabilizing the jump point, you're going to want to zip right back to the station. However, when we get there, we're not going to talk to the comms guy straight away. First, we're going to do one last trade. If you'll go in here, you'll notice that the prices of things are still through the roof. So what we're going to want to do here is sell all of our fuel. Yep, every single last bit of it. And we're going to sell all of our supplies. Yep, all gone too. Oh, we can get rid of that iron we found lying around the place. There we go. Now, we're a little bit low on fuel and supplies. That is bad. However, once we go in and open the comms directory here, we finish the mission. This reopens the gates. Everything should go back to normal. Yada. What's fuel down to? Oh, look. Fuel has dropped to 23. And supplies have dropped to 94. Meaning we can buy back all the fuel and supplies we just sold. and save ourselves a whole bunch of cash while doing it. And you'll notice that our transponder is still off. They haven't given us any trouble about that because the mission's still active. And we should probably... could we buy those drugs now? You finished the starting mission, the tutorial's over. We're about to head over to the next section, which would be... where is it? Corvus. But before we go, I think we'll go straight into what is your next stage of dealing. And that is, more black market trading. We're still in the black market here because our transponder is off, but we're going to have to start worrying about that the moment we leave the tutorial area. You'll see that the recreational drugs here are still 193. How do you tell if that's a good price or not? Well, you hit the F1 key, just like it recommends below it. And it gives you a whole listing of best places to buy and sell drugs from. You will see on the bottom there, you can get it as low as 147 to 169, depending on which of those 5 places you go. But all of those places have colors to them. That means they're controlled by places that will be very annoyed if you turned off your transponder. So they're not really good places to buy from. However, you will notice in the selling section, there's one for 450, Nortia Independent. That's an independent side. They won't mind if you turned off our transponder, meaning they're basically open for black market business. So we'll, and they'll pay 450 a pop. We can buy this stuff for 193 here. So yes, thank you very much. We will buy all of those drugs and we'll stick them in our hold for later. Let me just check if there's anything else worth buying here. It would appear that Nortia would also pay a hefty premium on harvested organs. We can buy them for 297 here, sell them for 476. And this is going to be your immediate future when you first go into Starsector after finishing the tutorial. You're going to be looking for independent places, or let's just check the map here. There are other colonies controlled by the Luddites. Down, where is it? Ah, yes. Epiphany by from the Luddic Path, and over here we've got Chaladon by the Luddic Path. So the Luddic Path, they don't care about you having your transponder on either, so they have no problems with your black market trading. So independents and black marketeers are going to be your main people to go to. However, before any of that happens, let's lay in a course for Corvus. We need to do something. At this location in Jangala, you do the last mission that the last section of the mission, which is you open the comms directory and you talk to this guy, Joseph. And that finishes that mission off, and they give you a little bit of advice on what to do next. However, what they entirely fail to mention is if you tab out here and you have a look, there's an abandoned terraforming platform over here. We are immediately going to go over and have a quick look at this abandoned terraforming platform. When you dock into it, it goes, the fleet approaches abandoned terraforming platform, decide to transfer goods and stuff. Basically, this is a storage location. You can store stuff here for free. So we could just say, dump all this stuff here, confirm no tariffs, no costs, no nothing. In fact, we can even store ships here. So we can go into the fleet section and go, hey, you know what, that thing's, we'll store that for later, and that thing's too damaged, we'll worry about it later. And you store them here. No cost. Does not cost you anything. This is incredibly valuable and it really should be included in the tutorial. Right outside the door of this abandoned terraforming platform, there's this desert world. It's an independent. Now, the great thing about independents is they don't mind you trading on the black market. However, they would prefer if you put your transponder off before you did it. Otherwise, you can actually drive down your level of happiness with them. Ooh, is that a... Yep, that is an assault chain gun. Nope, let's not get distracted. So, the first thing you want to do is pop out, have a quick look, and this will be our first lessons in stealth, though honestly an awful lot's going to happen. We're going to have to cover sensor ranges and sensor profile before we get too deep into it. But if you look over, we can't see any ships nearby, so it's a good sign that we're good to turn this off. Well, no coloured fleets. For example, there's this trader there, but they're neutral, we don't care about them. What we're worried about is orange coloured fleets because they have a presence in the system. They might actually still be in range though, so let's get our trade on real quick and get out of here. Unfortunately, they have very little in the way of anything we're interested in, but they do have these things here. These are blueprints. This gives us flux-resistant conduits. It's a mod. These are very important. You basically just want to buy all of these when you see them. You're going to want to get them all at one point or another. Converted fighter bays, operations center, surveying equipment. Yes, expensive, but trust me, you're going to want to get all of these and learn them. Then we'll check the fleet section to see if they have any of the ships we're going to be looking for. There is a salvage rig. We do want to get our hands on one of those, but Black Market has one as well. We are looking for salvage rigs, Sunder destroyers, pirate buffaloes, and a Colossus freighter or two. But we'll go over all of them as we get them. First up, we'll just buy the salvage rig. We're going to add that extant, thank you very much. Open the refit screen, and we're going to do absolutely nothing with this. We don't actually have the necessary mods to do anything too crazy. So instead what we'll do is, since we're not going to be using this ship, we can go right back in here and drop it off. Because we're not carrying it around with this, we're not actually wasting the maintenance points on it. In fact, some of these are just dead weight, so we're going to sell them off. Closest place to do that, and that will give us full price, is this place down here, of course, which is right next door to our storage location. With the fleet minimized, it's time to go sell off those drugs and get on with stage 2 of the plan. Nortia here is an independent colony, and since it's far away from any ships that could potentially identify us, we can turn off our transponder with ease. This is why smuggling with these crowd is so much easier. Well, black market trading. So once we're in here, we can sell off the drugs, and that nets us a cool 53 grand. Not an awful lot, to be honest, but we're working on it. Next up, I did manage to pick up a mod spec along the way for the insulated engine assembly. This is incredibly important. This is very useful for us. Well, it's going to be very useful for us later on, but for now, let's just have a quick look at the fleets and see if there's anything we can buy here that might help us. Unfortunately, they don't have the particular ships we're looking for, so it's time to go shopping. Now, at this point, I usually just stop caring about trading for a bit, and all I want to do is find places I can potentially buy ships from that would be useful for us. So, let's go shopping. Do turn on your transponder, though, before people come looking for you. First, we find a black market Colossus heavy freighter. Yes, we will take one of these, thank you very much. It cost us 49, well, it cost us the guts of 50 grand. This is on the black market, though, so people are not going to be very happy. We sort of flew in here without having one of those, and now we're going to fly out and not have a tax receipt. Oh, wow. I should really sell off those illegal organs, didn't I? Damn, I should have sold these already. You know what? It's fine. My bad. But the moment we get out of here, people are probably going to come and inspect our fleet. Let's immediately jump and see if we can get out of here before they do. Oh, they're pursuing us, yes. What they're basically looking for is black market items, because we just spent an enormous amount of money there. It reduced our relationship by a lot. So maybe don't do that too often. We will comply and prepare for inspection. Yeah, they didn't find anything because we don't have anything illegal, and now we can leave. That's going to occasionally happen, but once you've leveled up a bit, you won't have to worry about that nearly so much. This is the Echo Bree Station. It is in Tritachyon Corporation space. Now, one thing we haven't covered yet is Tritachyon are part of these different factions that you can go through here and have a look at. And all of these factions have certain things that are illegal. Tritachyon don't care. The only thing that's illegal is AI cores. Drugs, weapons, harvested organs, they do not care. You can buy all of those quite legally, and if they scan you and find those, they just consider it normal business. However, here we have found a fleet. If we go into buy and go under black market, we have found ourselves something that's a little bit trickier to find, but not impossible. It is, well, a buffalo, but it's a pirate buffalo. The reason that's important is because it comes with shielded cargo holds. It's not essential to get a pirate buffalo, but since they're reasonably common, well, not so hard to find, it's usually a good chance to hold out and try and get your hands on them if you can. Finally, we'll go in here and do a quick bit of a refit. This is our little pirate buffalo, and on it, we're going to put in 2 mods for now. There's actually more we want to add in, but the first one is militarized subsystems. Now, if you'll check up here, you can see down in the bottom middle, we've got sensor profile. And you'll see our sensor profile is 120, and our sensor strength is 30. That's bad for what we want to be using this for. So if we go in and put in militarized subsystems, it removes that, and we have 60 as a sensor profile and 60 as sensor strength. We'll go more into those later. Now we've got insulated engine assembly. This reduces our sensor profile by a further 50%, meaning our sensor profile has gone from, 120 I think it was, to 30. That's quite a jump. This makes our ship much harder to detect, which is very important. At the same time, we're also going to go up to our Apogee class cruiser for now, and okay, we're kind of going to do something similar. Where did we put those engines? Yes, insulated engine assembly. We had to remove a few capacitors, but this also removes it reduces the sensor profile on this ship. It's now down to 45. Okay, now let me show you why we've done this. We are here at the Atlan Starport, which is a perfect place to demonstrate how stealth works and when you go dark and how to sneak into places. Namely because there's this little asteroid belt around it that we can hide in, and at the same time there's always plenty of patrols around. So it seems like it's difficult to get into, but it's not that bad. If you look down here, you'll see what we have is called a sensor profile. This is how easy you are to see. And if you just hover over it and press F1, it gives you a breakdown of exactly what's going on. Your base sensor profile is 300. In other words, no matter how many ships you have in your fleet or what you've got, you will always have 300. Now, we'll go more into details on the ranges later, but it then takes your top 5 biggest ships, or the ships that have the highest sensor profile, and adds them up. So in this case, it's the Hammerhead, a Colossus class, a Shepherd, a DRAM. Basically, all of these added together give us an awful lot of visibility. It also throws in that we've got sustained burn and our transponder on. Because of the sustained burn, that also doubles the amount that we can be detected at, which is why our profile is at this incredible 2,380. However, if we hop into this nebula right here, or this little belt, what you'll see is that our profile has dropped to 595. The reason for that is you basically have it gets divided by 4 because you're hiding inside this ring system. These rings drastically reduce it. Nebulas reduce it by about, I think, 25%, maybe 50, I can't remember, but these are actually quite handy. Now, if we hover over this, you can see this little orange outline there? I believe that is the sensor ring, or the detection radius of this fleet. However, if we turn off our sustained burn, which should half our remaining sensor profile, our sensor profile drops to 422. And now you'll notice that orange ring is now closer. In fact, there's the orange ring from that one as well. That is also gone in closer because we have, well, we're as dark as we can possibly go without actually turning off our transponder. However, both of them can still see us. We're inside their sensor profile radius. There we go. Now we're just outside it. Let's just do a quick save to demonstrate this. But now that we're just outside it, what we can do is we can turn off our transponder. Neither of them can actually see us right now. As far as they're concerned, we don't exist. So if we turn off our transponder... Oh, 1 second. There we go. We've turned off our transponder. They haven't noticed. They're still patrolling. They don't care. But let's try this a little bit differently. We'll turn our transponder back on, and we'll move inside the radius of one of them. Say this one over here, which can now see us. And now that it can see... Oh my god, we can definitely easily see us. We're inside their range. We'll turn off the transponder profile, and now they're looking for our fleet. Because we disappeared inside their sensor range, they're going to come looking for us. Now, let's kick it up a notch. Just for demonstration purposes here, we're going to pop into this section right there, and what we're going to do is sell off all these ships, and we're going to strip it down to something bare bones. We have now stripped our vessels down to 2 ships. We have made ourselves absolutely tiny. As well as that, the upgrades we've put in these ships have reduced their sensor profiles. So this one has a sensor profile of 30, this one has a sensor profile of 45. So even with our transponder on and hiding in this cloud, you'll notice that we've got a little bit more leeway to work with. So let's turn off our transponders for now. Oh. And then actually, let's immediately go dark. Go dark actually halves it even more, dropping our sensor profile a little bit further. In fact, that's how close they have to get to us to detect us now. We've gone dark, and that's it. They have to get that close. So now we can just sneakily get into the starport right here and do our trading, and we can trade on the black market freely, and they won't notice, because we're effectively invisible to them. Now, of course, how do we get out of here? That is probably a really good question. I mean, we're sort of trapped inside this, and if we try and leave this area, their sensor profiles are going to go way back up again. For example, let's just move a little bit out. And, oh god, that's so slow. You can see their sensor profile has now increased, and they've caught us. They're actually pursuing our fleet because we left this cloud, and we maybe we could have gotten away that direction. But you don't have to worry about it. Instead, what you do is you just stay right here exactly where you are, and you activate transverse jump. Turns out this does not affect your sensor profile. You'd think it would do something crazy to it. No, we're still invisible. We can do a transverse jump right under their noses, and boom, they didn't even notice and we're gone. And that's the basics of doing some good smuggling. Now, let's go back in time a little bit before we went off and did all that testing, and we're back on that Tritachyon world where we bought that ship. Now, we have a massive opportunity in front of us here. If you'll check under recreational drugs, you'll see that the Umber pirates in Asconia are willing to pay 616 for drugs. That's a lot, and we can purchase it here at this planet, which is actually the best place to buy drugs, for 153. So we're going to clean out their black market of this stuff. In fact, you'll notice on the black market, our suspicion level is already medium. The reason we have medium... Oh, now we're extreme. We have medium because we already bought a ship here, and now we've just spent a lot of money. And, you know, we don't have any receipts or tax credits. But that's fine. You'll check here, if we just buy 1 drug from here, it's still going to cost us 204, even paying the tariffs. Bearing in mind, if we do go over to the Umber Pirates and try and sell it, they'll charge us 600... Well, pay us 616 for it. That seems like a good deal. Now, the price will go down as we sell them more and more, but that's something I can live with. In fact, I don't think we have enough money to buy all of this. Yeah, we're going to run out of cash, aren't we? Yeah. Hold on a minute. All right, that got a little bit expensive. We've just purchased another 800 of them. So now we have about 1,000 drugs, which, yep, that's a lot. But our fleet is still too big. So the first thing we're going to do before we go on our little drug run is we have to go straight back to Corvus, the place where we've got that storage facility on the abandoned terraforming platform. We have made the jump to the pirate system where we intend in selling all of these wonderful, wonderful recreational uses we have found. You'll notice there when you press F1, we can see that it's actually 0 light years distance away, so we can go drop it off there. Worst case scenario, Nortio will buy it for, what, 400 a pop? But I'm thinking with this little fleet that we've cut ourselves down to, we went back home, dropped off everything except 2 nice combat ships. This is not really a combat ship, to be honest. This one has an insulated engine assembly installed. This one also has an insulated engine assembly installed. Same on this 3. All 3 of them have drastically reduced sensor profiles. And it's a big enough fleet that it should drive off some of the smaller pirates. Now, let's have a quick look here. Okay, I think we're out of range of just about... Oh, god damn it, why don't you guys go away? I'm just about to leave their sensor profile. Perfect. We're going to turn off our transponder. You can just see us leaving the range so they won't care. Then, okay, there's another fleet over there, so Sustained burn will turn you off. Now, we just need to sneak in. Once we start seeing a sensor profile show up anywhere, we want to, well, not go into it. Oh, nope, turn around. Ooh, perfect. And now we'll just go dark. Now that we've gone dark, we'll be much harder to see. We do not want to tangle with the pirates if we can help it. Oh. And this is going to be our life for a little bit. Though it is a nice way to play. You're just trying to figure out how you can sneak into places. Active sensor burst. Oh well. That could be a problem if they've seen us. Pursuing your fleet. Well, okay. Buggery. I think it's time we turned and burned. Emergency burn. And we're going to start heading back towards here. We'll also turn our transponder on. Yeah, this is not really good at all. What's their top speed? 9. Our top speed. Yeah, about the same. Doesn't matter, we'll head back to one of the core worlds and we'll whittle some friends help us out. Since that base was surrounded by at least 3 patrols we'd seen, I decided to move on to the next one on the list, which is the Thulian Raider Base, which is located in the system of Thule. And if you check it out here, it's actually in an excellent position on an asteroid belt, meaning we should be able to easily sneak up to it. Once we get a little bit closer, what we'll do is we'll just go into stealth mode. That will stop us ramming into asteroids, which is annoying. Oh, wow, we're almost out of supplies as well. I should really take care of that. We'll pick up one somehow we're here. Oh, there we go. We'll go dark. Now, if we hover over them, once we're close enough, we should be able to see... Ooh, now they've gone invisible. Well, this is interesting. Okay. Okay, perfect. We made it. Yes, we can sell those for 656, and we have 0 supplies. I probably ran here a little bit too quickly, but if we sell this on the black market, we can net ourselves 539 grand. That's, I guess, we're up to about $500,000. We'll take all of those supplies. Actually, we're going to need them, and let's see if there's anything worth buying. It looks like there's another massive opportunity here. If we check under this, these guys are willing to pay 1,066 for heavy armaments. And we can purchase them for 446 over in the Tritachyon space, 5.3 light years away. Give me a few hours. Back with those supplies, we managed to get a nice little profit out of this, though we still have 132 of them left that we do have to sell off. Selling off those 132 nets us another little bit of change, but you might be wondering why our profits haven't gone up. Well, we did buy a few Sunder Destroyers along the way. I mean, we need those for later. Hallelujah. We have found the augmented drive field, +2 burn speed for all of our ships. Hells yeah. In fact, we're just going to take every mod we can find lying about the place. There's a use for all of them. Now that we've gotten our hands on augmented drives, it's time to do some refitting. And this is going to hurt. Now, one thing I need to point out here is you'll see that there's all of these things that have these dock items beside them. That means they affect things on the world map. They don't affect combat. They affect things like the auxiliary fuel tanks will allow your ship to hold more fuel. The drive field will allow them to move faster. But you'll notice there it's got a maximum of 2 built-in logistical hull mods per HUD. Logistics mods are ones that affect your abilities on the world map, like sensor range and stuff like that. And you're only allowed 2 per ship. We want to put in 3. So we're about to spend some things. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the augmented drive, which actually takes up 16 space, leaving us with not a lot left, and we're going to build it in. This, some people will have problems with. What I'm doing here is I am spending a story point. Now, you do get a reasonable amount of story points, so I have no problem spending 2 of them on this because it's just such a convenience. What this does is it immediately builds it into the hull, and it doesn't actually cost any space. So we still have all of our opportunity points left, and with those we can go down here and we can stick in the insulated engine assembly and the militarized subsystems. Now what we have is a cargo ship with a base cargo capacity of 400, plus an extra 200 from the abilities we've got, combined with a half the sensor profile of a normal, well, actually no, a quarter the sensor profile of a normal cargo ship that has been at least militarized, and it's got a movement speed of 11. So it's incredibly fast. This thing is faster than frigates, which are the smallest, fastest ships you can build. So it's incredibly quick. You're highly unlikely to be caught. We just need to maximize the rest of our fleet to take advantage of this, which we'll cover that in a little bit. But I just wanted to cover this build precisely because I'm going to be using 2 of these frigates in our fleet, and namely because of just the massive speed and stealth opportunities they provide us. Our fleet is just about hitting perfection here, but there's a couple of things we've got left to do. One second. We need to check out on our character section here. Now, we started off with navigation because it gave us that +1 maximum burn. It just makes sure that our fleet is incredibly fast. There is another option here, which is sensors. This reduces your detected range at. It actually makes you more cloaked, which you'd think would be something I'd be big into. Unfortunately, you lose out on that +1 maximum burn, and you lose out on the ability to do a transverse jump at any location on the map. Those two are just way, way, way too powerful for everything else. The sensor, getting that reduced sensor range would be nice, but I find if you're willing to spend a couple of story points on these stealthed ships, you can just end up in a much better position, or well, you can end up in a good enough position that you don't need to waste that character point. And instead you can have the maximum burn speed increased, which is far more valuable long term. Now, right now, every single one of the ships in this fleet is currently equipped with an insulated engine assembly and an augmented drive field. I do have to drop off this cruiser back home. We don't need this one anymore. It's just slowing us down, to be honest. But we'll cover more on that in a minute. Last thing, though, in the character selection, we have went beelined straight down this section of the tree. Damage control we don't care about. Pick either one of these, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever your preference is. But down here you have two choices. You can reduce your fuel consumption per unit, or you can reduce the amount of maintenance supplies it takes to keep your fleet going. First time I went through this, I used fuel consumption. Don't do it. Go with maintenance reduction. Maintenance is far more important. Maintenance reduction is how much it costs to keep your fleet moving. For example, this Sunder class destroyer here has a maintenance cost of 5.5. Well, it should be 11, but we're reducing it because of some skills we've got. Namely this one. It halves that cost. It costs 5.5 supplies a month to keep this ship afloat. And that doesn't matter if it's in hyperspace or regular space. This is just a flat cost you've got all the time. Fuel costs are only when you're in hyperspace, and you know when you're going to be doing that, and you can go in and out as much as you want, and you can take giant fuel containers. But maintenance is just a constant drain. Maintenance is basically fuel costs that never go away. It's the fuel that gets you around everywhere. So when it comes down to the character selection, I would strongly advise you to go with makeshift equipment to reduce your supply consumption. Also, it reduces the amount of resources required to survey planets. Also, very handy. Then, for this one here, you've got field repairs. This is what we're going to be going with next. You have a choice between derelict contingent and field repairs. Field repairs, far more important. What this allows you to do is it decreases the amount of negative mods you will find on a ship that you reclaim. And at the same time, every month, it has a chance to remove a randomly selected demod from a ship. So, for example, now that we have that, these ships, some of them have negative mods here. For example, this one has compromised armor, degraded life support, and an erratic fuel injector. I really don't like that erratic fuel injector, but every month, one of those will get removed randomly from our fleet. And this slowly helps us repair up some hulls that we find lying around the place, instead of paying enormous amounts of cash to get them refitted. This is just a really nice little bonus. We have finally hit the optimum fleet, the one we have been aiming for since the moment we finished the tutorial area. This here is a whole bunch of ships, all of them outfitted with, well, augmented drives and insulated engine assemblies. So every one of them has a sensor profile of 30. Every single last one of them. As well as that, they all have augmented drive fields, which means all of them have a maximum burn speed of 11. That's the reason we put the Apogee Cruiser into storage, is because we wanted to have max out our speed. So if we go out here, we can see that our base sensor profile with our transponder turned off is 450. That's minuscule. You got to remember, like, you've got 300 as a base to start with. So we're literally as close to invisible as you can get. Finally, the last remaining bonus that we get out of this, we have a speed of 12 is our base speed. That's just moving. And one of the other things this game has is this emergency burn feature that adds +8. So if we do get caught out and someone's trying to catch up with us, we can max burn up to 20 speed. That's ridiculous. Nothing can catch us, because there's actually a hard limit on how fast you can go in this game, and it's 20. You cannot go above that speed no matter how many engine upgrades and augments you have. The only way to actually pass the hard limit is to get hit by one of those lightning strikes inside a nebula field, and that can drive you actually above the limit to the second hard limit, which is 30. But 20 is the basic you can get. You can't go above that without a lightning storm hitting you. So effectively, you've got a fleet that's just perfection at smuggling. And this will be useful all the way through to the end of the game, especially when you find stuff in other areas that you want to sell off on the black market. However, all good things must come to an end eventually. And eventually you will saturate the market. The best example I can give of this is, here's the jugs. We could pick about 413 by selling them to the Tulian Raider base. However, it'll cost about 160 to make it, but it's getting to the point of it's not really profitable enough. I want to be making about 100 grand a run. Just between fuel costs and maintenance costs, it's not really worth it to do smaller runs. I think the best example, food over here was a good one. We could buy food for 11 in one area and sell it for 29 in somewhere else. So if we manage to grab 3,000 cargo worth of it, and bearing in mind our cargo limit is about 3,219, So if we were to take 3,000 of it, that would work out as about 54 grand. Perfect. If we got all of it for 11 and sold it all for 29, we could make 54 grand. Not worth it. You got to remember, you got to sneak in, you got to buy and sell it all on the black market. No. So we're going to move on to stage 3 or 4. I'm not even sure what stage we're on, but we're going to go into exploration. We have went back to our storage location and we have put our entire fleet into storage, and we've taken out the ones we have purchased along the way. These were ships we bought, sort of most of them in the background when you weren't looking, just because we knew we were getting to this point eventually. This is our exploration fleet. These are configured completely differently. Every single one of them. Actually, let's have a quick gander over this. All of our cargo ships have an augmented drive field to give them a +2, militarized subsystems to remove their sensor malice and improve their sensor profile. This, if you don't have this installed, your sensor strength is absolutely atrocious and you can't detect stuff far enough away. And all of them have an unstable injector. As for weapons and stuff, we don't care. Honestly, if these things get caught in combat, they're dead anyway. That's the reason we give them the unstable injector, on the hopes that they can run away from combat if we do get trapped in one. Though, honestly, with a top speed of, 55? Yeah, 55, they're not making it out of combat. You'll also notice this is our Apogee Cruiser. The reason we've kept this around for so long is it has high-resolution sensors, which adds to our sensor radius so we can see things from further away. It has surveying equipment, which is going to reduce the cost of surveying planets. Augmented drive field, of course, like everything else. Unstable injectors to hopefully get it out of combat. If this does get caught, this is the only ship that's guaranteed to escape. Namely because this thing has a top speed of 75, so we should be able to run out the other side, assuming we don't put up our shields. And some flux distributors, because why not? Then we've got your survey ship, or salvage rig. This thing can only fit in an augmented drive field. It literally has only 16 points, which means this is the only thing you can fit onto it. And then we have the fuel tanker, militarized subsystems, augmented drive field, and of course the unstable injector to hopefully get it to run away if we do, unfortunately, get caught in combat. But the whole reason for all of those upgrades and all of that is that means that our maximum burn speed is, there we go, 11. So we have a maximum burn speed of 11 if we've got all of our stuff off, and the moment we hit this sustained burn, we will cap out at 20. As well as that, this is very important for traveling in hyperspace, which we're going to be doing, because if you're at point 10, you'll have slowdown that you experience where you'll only be doing 18 to 19 in hyperspace, and it just slows you down getting to where you're going. So what is this next stage we're embarking on with this very lightly armored fleet? Well, we're going to go into intel and we're going to start looking at missions. Namely, we are going to be looking under exploration, surveying planets, or finding ships, or going and scanning ships. That's the only two we want to look at. We'll cover more on that, but that planet, yeah, this one here looks closer by. So we are going to accept this mission, and then after we've accepted it, we're going to show it on the map, and we are going to lay in a course for that system. Exit. Considering how cheap this is, this should hopefully be a milk run and shouldn't involve any real dangers. So first thing we're doing is going to jump, and once we've jumped and we've started on our way, we're going to have a look at the costs of how much this actually costs us to do. 1 second, start the sustained burn, and come on, max out, and there we go. Between fuel and maintenance cost, my calculator tells me this is going to cost us 9,020 credits to make it to this location and back, just in fuel and basic maintenance on our ships alone. And that's with all of the abilities we've got that are stacking up. That does not take into account getting struck by lightning, though, which now has damaged our fleet, and we're going to have to spend 9 supplies on repairing that damage. 9. That's... Each one of those costs 100. That one lightning strike cost... It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, then you're going to zip all the way down here. There are ways you can boost through these things, but, well, we just got struck again. How's the fleet looking? Never mind. This is why I tell you to go with maintenance for your fleet. Namely because it reduces the amount of supplies that you are going to require. Fuel, on the other hand, you can just cram that into a tanker, and so long as you have plenty of fuel, you don't care. Alright, we're about to enter this system, and... What? Oh my god, it sent us to a place with actual danger. When you try and enter a system that has danger in it or something waiting for you on the other side, it will warn you, so let's just go over here instead. We'll turn off our maximum burn as well. It will reduce our detection. Oh my god. Well, it looks like we're going to have an interesting first jump. We'll just, we'll jump in at the edge. This might get a lot more interesting than I thought. I'm going to save this one. Yeah, we'll jump in at the star. That will probably be simpler. And we're immediately found out by a remnant fleet. We are probably in the wrong neighborhood. Right, let's have a check. There is the planet we need to get to and scan. But thankfully, we came in a fleet designed specifically to deal with nasty, horrible situations without dying. So, These fleets, they're actually pretty good, but what we have is... Yep, oh. Almost got me, but we're way faster than them. Namely because of exactly how we designed this fleet. Okay, once we get a little bit further out of range, we'll put in sustained burn. That should get us all the way up to 20, and away we go. You'll have to end up doing with this with some of these fleets. Now, you could bring along military ships with you, but there's a problem with bringing along military ships, and we'll come back in here into fleet. You'll see that this heavy freighter has a maintenance cost of 3. That's minuscule, to be honest, for the amount of cargo it gets to carry. Each military ship you bring, though, will usually have a maintenance cost of like about 5.5. And how many military ships would we have to bring? Along with just this, the cost it would incur on us is just not worth it, especially when we can run away from any danger we encounter. If you'll excuse me, we'll just go do some surveying here. Oh, wait, is that fleet too close? Yep, perform a survey. And this is not even the planet we're looking for, but it's a good example. You'll see here under surveying, this place is twice as expensive to survey is because of its hazard rating. It has a 200% hazard rating, 1.7 multiplier because of the planet's size, and a 0.5 multiplier which actually halves the amount it costs because of a surveying skill we've got. As well as that, we have surveying equipment built into our ship, which actually halves the amount of cost, or reduces it by 20 for heavy machinery and supplies, meaning it's only going to cost us 10 supplies to survey this planet. That surveying equipment has just saved us 20 supplies and 20 heavy machinery. Always bring something with surveying equipment when you're going surveying. Now, we do a quick survey of this planet, and done it tells us a bunch of stuff. Oh, extensive ruins. That's good. Ruins on planets means we can go loot them. So we'll just do a little bit of looting, begin the salvage operations, and... oh, this was just... yeah, this was a beautiful fight. We have... there's too much here. We literally can't carry all of this stuff. But the most important ones, this is a hegemony auxiliary blueprints package. This will allow us to, if we learn this, it will allow us to build these ships later. The Buffalo, the Wolf, the Kite, and the Hound class frigates. Or we could sell it for 20 grand, but I'd prefer to be able to build these later. This one's a little bit trickier. This is the Onslaught class battleship, meaning later on we'll be able to build them, or we could sell this for $250,000 right now. Now I'll learn it. I'll sell it later. I mean, we're probably going to need them. Oh, you'll notice there I accidentally left there without claiming the cargo. That... it doesn't make a difference. The cargo pods will end up floating around in space afterwards, which you can then go and examine the pods, and then we can take the stuff that I forgot. That was silly of me. But you can take all. You'll notice here, this is warning us that we have so much salvage, it's brought us over capacity. It's good to get warnings about that, because the moment you go over capacity, it starts charging you extra supply, meaning it will cost us 47 supplies per day to keep carrying all of this extra materials. We don't want that. This has accidentally crippled the odd fleet every now and then. So what you want to do is, if you just hold on Control and click, it will dump back in as much as it takes to bring you down to undersupply. We will confirm and continue. Oh god, we already have filled up our cargo supply. I should have brought a third cargo ship. In fact, when it comes to the fleet here, I would normally recommend bringing 3 of these Colossus class freighters, just because it gives you enough cargo space. Anyway, this guy is now pursuing our fleet, which is bad because we want to get over to this place over here. And we want to get there before... don't want to be in range of that guy when we get there, otherwise he will be pursuing us and we won't be able to perform our survey. Damn it, yeah, we're well inside that guy's range. If you're inside of a range of a ship that's chasing you, you shouldn't normally be able to perform a survey, but it seems they don't care here. Okay, we also found some scattered ruins. And that means we've actually finished the mission we were sent here to do. We'll explore the ruins. You can see down here, it's actually just grayed out in the background. We've improved our relationships with the Independents by 5 and gained 50 grand for doing it. We can also... we'll also do a quick exploration of the ruins, begin a salvage operation, and take all this stuff. Ooh, more blueprints. Midline blueprint package, which allows us to learn how to build all of those ships when we form our own colony. Take all that junk. Oh, yeah, we are also a little bit over capacity, and we'll dump the iron first. Metals are actually the most worthless, followed by organics after that, and confirm continue. God damn it. Looking at this section, there's actually 3 more planets out here, so we're going to go around and explore all 3 of them while dodging the fleets. We could have brought enough military ships to take them on, but it's just not worth it. The time and effort spent, or the amount of money it takes to bring the fleet here, not worthwhile, especially considering we can just outrun them considering the fleet we have. Ooh, today's our lucky day. We've also found a mining station out here. There is just so much good stuff in this early sector. We've actually lucked out finding all this stuff. And, ooh, catalytic core. Alright, this is one of the main reasons we're out here, is to find things like this. This catalytic core is going to increase the refining production by 3 units. So when we get a refinery up and running later, when we start doing colonies, this will give us a massive boost to production. I mean, your refinery is probably only going to produce about 2 or 3 units at first anyway. This will double it. These things are just, they're incredibly valuable for late game, and this is why you come out and do exploration. Well, also this and all of the blueprints you can get your hands on that will drastically help you out. Turns out there's a remnant nexus in this place. That would explain why it's been so dangerous. Alright, we're just going to gain ourselves a little bit of distance here and leave the sector. That was an interesting first exploration, but I think this is actually an excellent demonstration of why we build this fleet exactly the way we do. By putting in those augmented engines, we're nice and fast, and we can outrun them even if we don't have burns enabled. We can just straight up run faster than they can. We're just here to loot. That's it. We're just here to grab everything we possibly can and get out. We don't want to fight. We don't want to get involved in anything like that. That's just expense. We just want to get in and out as cheaply as possible. Personally, I was hoping to do a little bit more exploration while we were down here. You'll notice there's a black hole right there. Black holes usually, well, they're highly more likely to contain things like science stations and stuff like that are very good for looting. But unfortunately, our cargo is completely full, so we need to go back home and drop off some stuff. So we head straight back home to our abandoned terraforming platform. And while we're here, I was doing a quick check, and it turns out there is an opportunity available where those organics are selling for 50 a pop in Citadel Arcadia in Hegemony. Taking our super stealthy fleet, which is designed for this, we are going to sneak into Arcadia right under the noses of their picket, go to trade goods, go to black market. Now, let's not expect too much here. Even though we literally got this for nothing, we still need to make about 77 grand on this one trade. But this is more an example of what will happen when you find stuff inside ruins. I once found 500 heavy armaments in there, which I sold off for, I think I made about $500,000 on one trade just by finding those. And this is the power of keeping two fleets going. This one is there to do your sneaky trading from stuff you find out and about. This top fleet here of 5 ships, their only purpose is to go out and explore and bring back loot from outside sectors. So to put a generalized summary on this whole system, you have one super sneaky fleet. It takes care of all of your black market trading, and you only trade in goods that get you a nice income. None of this high volume, low value stuff. That stuff is just a sucker's game. Then you have this second fleet over here. Its whole purpose is to go out and do your exploring and pulling back lots of resources, and namely blueprints and unique items that you can't find elsewhere, like this catalytic core. Oh, that nav relay mod spec we should tap into. And a whole bunch of AI cores. Getting some high-level AI cores can really help you out late game as well. The outlay to purchase all of these ships was probably about $500,000 between initial costs and upgrades. As well as that, the reason we purchase Sunder-class destroyers exclusively is because of all the destroyer-class ships, they retain their value the best. Mid to late game, they can still be useful, and also, as well as that, assuming you configure them with the high-intensity laser and the... go onto the wiki, you can see the different builds you can use. Give them the high-intensity laser build, and you can give these to the AI, and the AI control them and use them just fine and get lots of value out of them. So this is the only destroyer class I would recommend you buy, because it just keeps its value for so long. The only reason we purchase them right now is they scare off smaller pirate fleets so that we don't have to run from everything, and at the same time they actually have the similar sensor profile to our cargo carriers. If you absolutely positively cannot stand to spend the 1 story point it takes to put an augmented drive field into these, what you can do is instead purchase drones. Apologies, that should have been mule. You want to get mule class combat frigates. They can also come with shielded cargo hulls, and they already come with proper sensor and sensor strength profiles so that you don't have to put militarized subsystems on them, meaning you can just stick on the engines, the 2 engine upgrades, and you're good. However, their cargo capacity is only 250 as opposed to the 400 of the Buffalo frigates, and at the same time they cost 50 grand as opposed to about the 22 to 24 you can get the Buffaloes for. So if you just don't want to spend those story points, you can get a couple of, well, probably 3 mule frigates, actually 4 mule frigates, just to make up the difference. A good way to think about all the missions is think of them as just paying for your gas money. They're what gets you there and back. But if you can find 2 or 3 missions in the same area, then definitely do take them. It just helps out. What you want to do is get out there, explore a planetary system, and then if you still have cargo space, explore the next planetary system, and the next on your way back home, until you eventually have your cargo base full, or you've got yourself on enough items that you're comfortable to leave, at which place then you just burn all the way straight home. So just think of them as gas money to get you to where you want to go. Anyway, after having done several of those, our money's at about 778, but if we go in here into our resources, we have lots of stuff we could sell off. In fact, under the other section, we've got a whole bunch of these things that can really help out our colony that we're just about to found. We've got a bunch of these survey data we can sell off. We've even got some alpha core. Well, we got one alpha core that was kind of actually a bit of a unfortunate. We could have preferred more. We have more than enough to max out and get the million we're going to need to start off a decent colony. While at the same time, we have a whole bunch of bonuses we can throw into that colony as it grows. And under fleet, we accidentally managed to pick up we rescued a whole bunch of captains as well. So we've actually got people we can put into doing military ships. Now is the time you will pivot from exploration and trading into military styling and building up a colony. But that would be another tutorial. I know. I shouldn't be playing Starsector at all. It didn't even come close to the top of the list. It's just it was the last game on the list, and I kind of got a little bit of sucked in. I'm not sure it's that the game is just that good, or it's just that the information on how to play it is so hard to find. It's not one of those games where you can just look up a strategy guide. There doesn't really appear to be any ones, or if there are, they're pretty well hidden. You sort of just have to browse through forums, read through the wiki. I mean, oh my god, the wiki is terrible. I mean, it has information on it, but just say you want to find out, hey, what frigate has the largest cargo capacity? Well, you'll have to go through every single ship individually, open multiple tabs. There's no actual tabulated information anywhere. It's so frustrating, which is like catnip to me, because I want to figure out how the game works. I want to put it all together, which is how I ended up doing this tutorial, which I shouldn't be doing, because I ended up playing this till like stupid o'clock in the morning, where it gets to that point where you're like, oh wait, looks like I'm going to work with no sleep today. And I'm not even sure it's just the game that's amazing. It's just, there was so much I wanted to know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this trip down Insanity Lane, and good luck.